Tonight, the reign is over, and a new winner will be crowned as Sports Channel proudly presents the 1989 IHSA Class A Baseball Championships. It's Kankakee Bishop McNamara's Fighting Irish of Coach Terry Granger against the Midgets of Freeburg High School of Coach Fred Blumberg. Direct from Lanphier Park in Springfield. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Passion, along with Bill Zeman, the longtime successful head baseball coach at Roanoke. Benson, his ball club has been here 3 times now in the last decade. You know how tough it is, Bill, just to get to this championship game. What can a coach determine in the outcome?
Well, it's very important that you get your team motivated for the game. A lot of times that is done by the players themselves. This is what they work all year for. They work hard for this. They put forward their best effort. A coach just has to bring it together for them on a night like tonight. And the keys to getting that championship trophy sometimes are locked in consistency. Both ball clubs have done that all year long. A 19-game winning streak, for example, for Freeburg, who plays against a very competitive conference in the Southern Illinois, St. Louis area. And you know all about that conference and how tough they have had to get to this championship game. They have been outstanding in a well-balanced sense, defense, pitching, and hitting. But that has not been the case with Bishop McNamara. Their pitching was sound during the regular season, but their coach is concerned about how inconsistent it has been during this tournament. Yes, he made mention earlier that they're putting more walks on than they're accustomed to, but he said pitching got them here, so he's hoping that tonight it comes back. And he may have to go pitching by committee. You know, in high school baseball, there are a lot of unique rules that are different from collegiate or pro baseball. One of those, a pitcher can only pitch 9 innings per day. And with 3 games in 2 days, that's sometimes not so easy. There are some other unique rules in high school baseball, Bill. Well, as you know, we play 7 innings, and we also have the 10-run rule, which is in effect for the championship game. That is, when a team gets ahead by 10 runs, the game is over at the end of 4.5 innings if it is the home team ahead. If it is the visitors ahead, then the home team gets their chance to bat in that inning. And both teams have provided the crowd here at Lanphier Park in Springfield with some drama in the earlier games. In the quarterfinal game, for example, Freeburg got a home run from an unlikely source. Pfeiffer hit a home run in the bottom of the 9th to break a 2-2 tie to beat Monmouth High School. And in the other quarterfinal game, it was the ball club from Kankakee McNamara, who also got a big win in their 7-6 victory over Westmont. In the semifinals, it was Freeburg over Argenta Oriana by a final score of 9-4, and Kankakee McNamara came from behind to defeat Anna Jonesboro 12-9. Then in the consolation game, the 4th place trophy went to the Bombers. Argenta Oriana losing 10-8, the 3rd place trophy going to Anna Jonesboro in the consolation game played prior to this championship game. The championship game is just ahead. We'll have the starting lineups and the first inning of play from Springfield right after these messages. From Robin Roberts Field at Lanphier Park, welcome to high school baseball, the Class A state championship today. Pitting the 2 outstanding teams. First, Freeburg's Midgets, 33-3 on the year, coached by Fred Blumberg, and Terry Granger, the head coach of the Bishop McNamara Fighting Irish, 25-9 on the year. The Freeburg Midgets will be the visitors for this championship game of Class A high school baseball in Illinois, and let's look at their starting lineup for the 33-3 Midgets. Leading off, number 8, the center fielder, will be Tim Pruitt. He'll be followed by the designated hitter, Brad Gentry, number 15. Gentry hitting for 3rd baseman, Clint Bickett. The number 3 man in the order, shortstop, Scott Meath, number 30. Meath will be at short, followed by the big hitter, Rich McGuire. The catcher, McGuire, is number 5. Mark Dill, the second baseman, will be followed by Jim Lynch. Keith Schlesinger, who played 3rd base in the semifinal, will be the starting pitcher today for the Midgets. Keith Pfeiffer, with a big home run that won the game in the quarterfinals, will be out in left field, and batting 9th will be Todd Leonard in right field. The starting pitcher, Keith Schlesinger, has not pitched a game, Bill, since his regular season finale, and it's interesting that the head coach, Fred Blumberg, says he wanted to try and see what he can get against this kid, because here's a kid for Kankakee McNamara who is on the mound here today, Rod Skively. And Skively is a young man who just pitched yesterday, so he's already had some innings. We'll see how long his arm's going to last. Yes, he went 4 innings yesterday, gave 4 runs, all 4 were earned, 7 walks and 2 strikeouts.
The umpires for today's game, behind home plate will be Ted Daniels of O'Fallon. At first base is Stephen DeRubis out of Winona. Down the left field line, Bill Ositka of Lansing. The second base umpire, Bill Lemonnier of Oak Forest. At third base, making the calls over there at the hot corner, will be Bob Thorness of Roselle. And down the right field line will be Melvin Herbert of Bourbonnais. Terry Granger, the sixth-year coach of Kankakee McNamara, was asked earlier, what can he do to beat this ball club from Freeburg, who have played so well in this tournament? He had this to say about it.
Basically, we're going to have to be, very consistent defensively and offensively. I think our pitchers have to be consistent and, just have fun. We've been emphasizing the fact that we want to have fun out here and not have any pressure put on us and try to put the pressure on them and just relax and have fun.
Well, Bill, it's interesting. That is what all coaches would like to be able to say to their kids, but they don't all get to the championship game. Kankakee McNamara and Coach Terry Granger are here, and they have had a lot of fun getting here, and with some dramatics already in this two-day tournament.
Yes, they have. Fun sounds great, but right now these kids are nervous. They want to play, and it's something special to win the state. And I know that's on their mind.
Well, let's take a look at Tim Pruitt, our center fielder. He'll be leading it off. Pruitt batting .410 on the year with 5 home runs for his leadoff hitter. He leads the ball club with the home run category, 28 RBIs for Pruitt. He's the center fielder, and here's the first pitch of the Class A championship game, and it's inside, a little chin music for ball 1. Skibbley is 9-2 on the year with an ERA of 1.90 as he winds up here to Pruitt, and he falls behind at 2-0. For Skibbley, he has pitched in 12 games this year, 70 innings all told, has struck out 65 batters in those 70 innings as he gets his first strike of the day. Count goes to 2-1.
That's the toughest one to get, first one. Now, see what happens after this.
Skibbley has only walked 36 this year, and Pruitt fouls one out into the aluminum stands, and you'll hear that ball banging away here at the stands here at Robin Roberts Field, named after the former great Major League curler. This, of course, being the home of the Class A Springfield Cardinals, and there you get a good look at the ballpark on a beautiful, gorgeous, mild evening, clear skies above central Illinois. No outs here in the top of the first. Skibbley facing Pruitt, the 2-2 delivery. Big roundhouse curve, comes up high, and that's one thing that Coach Granger told me about Skibbley, Bill, is he doesn't have the big curve, but it's a good off pitch for his out pitch, the fastball. Maybe we'll see it here.
As he said, he's sneaky fast.
A grounded to the shortstop. Long throw, and they don't get it. It's that close.
Nice play by the shortstop on the ball in the hole.
Austin Provost handling the ball, but Pruitt is on first base with an infield single. And here's another look.
As you can see, the shortstop had to go to his right to make the play. Planted, tough throw to make from that hole. And it was a close play at first, but he was there.
Well, Pruitt really put on the afterburners to get there. And he's on first base, and that'll bring up Brad Gentry, the designated hitter. He's a left-hander against the right-hander who has to go to a different approach from the mound because he's got a runner aboard. Now, Bill, you've got a pitcher on the mound. How easily do these high school kids take to the teaching of being able to keep that runner close to the bag and still put their concentration level toward the batter?
Well, that's one of the toughest things as a coach you have to get across to the pitcher, that you can't put so much attention on the hitter or on the man on first that you take your mind off the hitter. That's when you tend to get the fastball high, make the hittable pitch. Now, Coach Bloomberg said they're really not a running team, so we'll see what happens here.
Scott Meath, big RBI man on deck. And again, falls behind the second hitter in a row at 2-0. Gentry on the year, batting just .189, no homers, 5 RBIs, but he's been a guy with a good high on-base percentage, and that's why Coach likes him right there at the number 2 spot. The 2-0 delivery gets the outside corner and brings it to 2-1. a balk is called as the pitcher just simply dropped the ball while on the mound. Bill, I'll let you put that in layman's terms.
Well, what happened once you put your foot on the rubber, you are in the pitching position. He dropped the ball, and of course that is an immediate balk.
And it brings manager Terry Granger out of the dugout. There's Terry, number 4 in his 6th year, 123 wins and just 58 losses as head coach over there at Bishop McNamara. And that school knows what it takes to win a state title. Their football team has won 4 state titles over the past decade and a half. And also it should be noted that the Bishop McNamara golf team finished 2nd in the state in Class A competition this past school year. In fact, the only other time that Bishop McNamara has been in the state finals was in the quarterfinals in '86, and they lost to Lee Schulte's Marissa Ball Club.
Very good ball club.
3 years ago. The 2-1 delivery, slicing line drive into left field. They're waving the runner out third, and Pruitt will score. 1-0 Freeburg. RBI single, Brad Gentry, his 6th RBI of the year. And there's Brad, really put that pitch away. It was floating outside to the left-handed hitter, and we'll see how he just went with the pitch, Bill.
As you can see, it was an outside pitch, and as you said, he went with the pitch nicely and put it down the left field line.
The left fielder for McNamara, Jason Jarvis, slipping a bit on the turf, and the ball gets away. Wild pitch. And this has been McNamara's problem these last 2 days here in Springfield, and that has been allowing too many runners on base. They have gotten in trouble, but their hitting has gotten them into this championship game. We'll see if it gets it past them.
Well, Terry Granger made the statement earlier today that one of the things that he thought got him here was his pitching, but he was a little worried about the way things were going throughout the tournament. He was hoping they would turn around tonight.
Scott Meath, one of the leading hitters on this Freeburg team, batting .455, and he sends one deep to left field, down the line, going back, and it will be a fair ball. Coming around second, Gentry will score 2-0 Freeburg, and with a stand-up RBI double at second base is Scott Meath. Well, Meath put his teeth into this one and really sent it. I thought this one was going to have it all.
Yes, he got his arms extended well, got out in front of the pitch, put it right down the line.
And Meath had no hesitation. He's going over to second base. Gentry scores 2-0 Freeburg here in the top of the 1st inning. And Terry Granger decides that committee that he talked about having to pitch with today is going to start right here. That will be all for Rob Skively. Skively, who had not pitched today in the semifinal game, but he did pitch 4 full innings and walked 7 in the quarterfinal victory by Kankakee McNamara over Westmont 7-6. He threw a lot of pitches in that ball game, and Coach Granger told me he wasn't sure which way he was going to go with it, as far as he'll let the situations dictate how he'll go. And here is Jason Sushi, who will come in and do the pitching. Sushi's a left-hander, just a sophomore, 6 foot, 16 years old.
It's a big game for him to come into at this time.
Number 22 is Rob Skively walking off. You can imagine he is disappointed. He would like to be as active a part of this victory as he was in the quarterfinal. And here's the young man that will pick it up where Skively left off. Jason Sushi, and he's a young left-hander. The numbers on Sushi is 1-1 on the season coming into this tournament. In just 2 games, was brought up from the sophomore team at the end of the regular season. In 13 innings pitched here in the varsity level, he has given up 15 hits, 3 earned runs, has walked 4, but in those 13 innings pitched, Bill, he has struck out 13 with an ERA of 1.62. So this young man, although a sophomore, can throw the bullet.
Yes, that's some pretty impressive stats for a sophomore. 1.62 ERA.
The big RBI double, and standing at second base waiting for his turn to come around with no outs. For a big hit by Scott Meath. He really laid the teeth of that bat into the ball down the left field line. And so Kankakee catcher Ed Marquis, being highly recruited by many colleges around the Midwest, trots back to his spot behind home plate, and coming up to home plate is catcher Rich McGuire for the Midgets. And right now, this Freeburg ball club is hitting anything like midgets. They're hitting more like little giants. McGuire also a big RBI man, 33 ribbies for Rich. He is batting .464, leads the ball club in that category, and has hit the long ball twice this year. 2-0 Freeburg, top of the first. No outs, the 1-0 delivery. Right there at the belt. Mark Dill will be on deck to be followed by Lynch, Schlesinger, Pfeiffer, and Leonard.
Right now,
popped it up in the middle. Second baseman, shortstop, who's going to take it? Finally, the second baseman decides it's his ball. Lyle Turl goes back on the outfield grass and retires Rich McGuire.
Right now, McNamara's trying to stay away from the big inning.
There's a look at Lyle Turl. He called that one and took it. Mark Dill, the second baseman for Freeburg, steps into the right-hand hitter's batter's box. Freeburg in their solid royal blue jersey tops, gray pants. And it's a little chopper to the right of the mound. Sushi mishandles for a moment, recovers, and throws him out at first for 2 away. So Dill grounds out to this young man, the sophomore, Jason Sushi, and he comes in, faces 2 batters, throws 2 pitches, and gets 2 outs. The hitter, Jim Lynch, pops it up to shallow left center. Underneath it, and making the catch is Jason Jarvis, and he tosses the ball away. But in the inning, 2 runs on 3 hits, and Freeburg leads it 2-0. As we go to the bottom half of the first inning of the IHSA Class A Baseball Championships from Lanphier Park in Springfield, the Kankakee McNamara Fighting Irish will now come to the bat for the first time. And let's take a look at the Irish as they trail 2-0 here with their first at-bats about. Third baseman Jeff Palisard, number 11, will lead it off for the Irish, to be followed by second baseman Lyle Turl. Kevin Hassett, big RBI, big home run hitter, first baseman. He will bat third. Hassett at third. Ed Marquis, the outstanding catcher, will be in the cleanup spot. John Wade, the designated hitter, will bat for the pitcher Rob Scavilli. He'll be followed by Austin Provost, the shortstop, Jason Jarvis, left fielder, center fielder Terry Kerr, and right fielder Kurt Quick. On the mound for the Freeburg Midgets is Keith Schlesinger. He played third base, and he's now on the mound. Hasn't pitched since the last game of the regular season in a game. We'll tell you more about that. The leadoff hitter, Jeff Palisard, the third baseman. Palisard batting .409 with 2 homers and 24 RBIs. There's good old 1-1. The 0-1 delivery outside and misses. It's an interesting story behind Schlesinger, Bill, as we were told by head coach Fred Bloomberg that they figured they would get into a situation like this, and they wanted to hold Schlesinger out. He's 5-0, and he gives up a base hit to open up the bottom of the second.
As Coach Bloomberg said, he hasn't pitched since the last regular season game, but he's been on a 4-day rotation in practice, throwing 50, 60, 70 pitches.
But it doesn't seem to bother Jeff Palisard. He hits one right up the gut and is on with a base hit. And this is the interesting part, has made Bishop McNamara kind of a favorite among some of the fans, as I was listening to during the semifinals. They are exciting. They hit the ball. They may give up a few runs, but they get a bunch themselves. Here's Lyle Turl, the second baseman. Turl batting .360. 1 homer for Lyle. He has 7 RBIs, and he looks down the third base line to his head coach, Fred Bloomberg. Check that. Terry Granger handles the third base coaching box for McNamara. The first base box, Mike Honel. Leading off first, Palisard, the 1-0 delivery. At the knees, Ted Daniels handling the balls and strikes. Only the best teams are here, and ditto that for the umpires. They bring about the best. This is their reward and their honor to be here umping the state championship games. The 1-1 delivery, a little bunt, hit him in front of the plate. Freeburg says it hit him, but no, it bounced off the plate and becomes a foul ball. Lyle Terrell will come back, and we'll face a 1-2 count. Now, Bill, you look at this, and we can take a look at how and where it bounces.
It hit him in the batter's box, which constitutes a foul ball.
So Lyle gets a second chance here with no outs in the bottom of the first. 2-0 Freeburg. They're out in the field. Max at the bat. And it brings the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck will be Kevin Hassett, big slugger. Leads the ball club in RBIs and home runs. Lyle Terrell, though, his job is to get on for Hassett. And he swings high fastball for strike 3, out number 1. And he quickly disappears into the dugout. And watch this young man, Schlesinger, put on some heat. Whew.
Coach Bloomberg said that Schlesinger had a good breaking ball, hits the spots well, throws a decent fastball with a roundhouse curve. So he's got a lot to look at.
Well, here's a young man he's going to have to use more than heat. Kevin Hassett likes the heat. First baseman, powerful left-handed hitter. And he chopped one foul off to the left. Hassett, big fella, really had a big 2-run double in the semifinal that helped turn things around for McNamara. It came at a very clutch time when Anna Jonesboro was knocking at their door and maybe going away into this game. But McNamara came back. This is one of the big reasons why. Throw over the first. Runner is back in time. Jeff Palisade, McNamara's third baseman, number 11, with the lead. Hassett, 45 RBI, 7 homers, and batting .410. Doesn't strike out much either. But he does look at a strike on the outside corner, and it brings it 0-2.
Schlesinger has done a nice job with this hitter, keeping the ball low and away from him.
Throw back over the first. Palisade back easily in time, just getting that dirty jersey. Let his mom know that he was here. Ed Marquis, the McNamara catcher, on deck. Kevin Hassett at the plate. The 0-2 count with 1 out. The delivery. And he goes again after that outside pitch. Somewhat of a slider, seemed to kind of slide away from home plate, and a great pitch and a great out pitch. 2 strikeouts for Schlesinger.
As you can see here, the ball went on the outside of the plate, and he went after it. Now, that's a good pitch with 2 strikes on a good hitter, especially a power hitter. Go to his weakness.
Well, Schlesinger shows no weakness at this point other than a little sweat underneath the cap, and he digs in to face Ed Marquis, number 26, big, powerful right-handed catcher. Throws outside and away to Marquis as well. Marquis, number 26 here, on the year batting .307. He can hit the long ball, too. 5 home runs, 37 RBIs. Throw back over to Palisade. Because McNamara has been able to hit the ball so well, it seems to make sense that Schlesinger is letting Palisade know that he knows he's there.
Yes, you don't want to put him in scoring position with 2 outs.
In the right center field alley, that's going to go for extra bases. Bouncing off the wall, Palisade wheeling around third. They're going to send him home. The throw comes in. There'll be no play. 2-1. McNamara gets on the board and trails by 1. An RBI double by Ed Marquis.
The hitters on both teams done a nice job going with that pitch. Now here was the low outside pitch, and he went to right center with it, which you coach your kids to do.
And they were waving him around third base, and scoring easily is Palisade, and the throw up the line. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, John Wade, another left-handed hitter against the right-hander, Schlesinger. Wade on the year, batting .511. 3 home runs and 12 RBIs.
Coach Granger said he inserted him in the lineup about mid-season. As you can see, hitting .511. He's got 23 hits for them, and I'm sure he was a big important factor.
Time for the catcher to go out as the hitter over at second base with the big RBI double at Marquis. It sits and waits. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Schlesinger on the mound. And behind the hitter at 2-0. Wade hitting for the pitcher. They want to go back to throw. Nobody covering, just letting them know he's there. Marquis goes back and gets his lead. Home plate umpire Ted Daniels calling the outside strike and letting the hitters and the pitcher know very early that that's how he'll call them, and they'll have to know that when they come up. The 2-1 delivery with 2 outs. Tries to get that outside corner again. Aiming just a bit, Bill, and missing by just that bit.
Yes, he's trying to hit the corners right now, and of course, Wade being a good hitter, he has first base open, so that might be part of their strategy at this point.
A 3-1 count. Man on second with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Wade really took a chunk out of that swing, and it felt great up here. Austin Provost, the shortstop for McNamara on deck, and Schlesinger not too concerned with the man on deck right now. He's got a 3-2 delivery, and we have a timeout behind home plate for just a moment. Wade steps out and now digs back in. The corners are open. Marquis on second, 2 outs, and John Wade facing a full count. The delivery. Fly ball to right field. Underneath it, the right fielder for Freeburg, and with the play is Todd Leonard in the inning. 1 run on 2 hits. And it's a 1-run ball game as we go to the second. Freeburg leading McNamara 2-1. We go to the top of the second with the Freeburg Midgets leading Bishop McNamara's Fighting Irish of Kankakee 2-1. Joe Passion, along with Bill Zeman, his ball club has been in this tournament 3 times in the 80s. And how's it feel to be up in this spot instead of down on the hot seat in the dugout?
I don't know which one I was more nervous about, to tell you the truth.
Opening up this inning, it'll be Schlesinger, who did such a marvelous job, although getting hit, but still got a couple of strikeouts and played third base in the semifinal. He's doing it all here and batting to open up, and he slices one into right field. Coming in to make the catch for out number 1 is Kurt Quick, and Schlesinger makes quick work after that hit. Keith Pfeiffer will be the hitter, the number 8 hitter in Coach Fred Bloomberg's order. There's a look at Kurt Quick out there in right, and there's Keith Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's the young man who had the dramatic bottom of the 9th inning solo home run that won the quarterfinal game against Monmouth 3-2 for this Freeburg ball club. Only his 2nd homer of the year, and what a time to pick that one out of the hat.
There's none better right there.
And ironically, too, Bill, the only home run hit in this final tournament this week.
Yeah, that is strange to have these ball clubs as good a players we have here and only have 1 home run up to this point.
And we'll talk a little bit about that as we talk about the type of baseball being used in the tournament here compared to college baseball and Major League Baseball. And we've heard some of the coaches talk about that. Well, I don't think Pfeiffer has any complaints at this point about the type of baseball, but everybody uses it. The 2-1 delivery, he pops it off the glove. Goes to 2-2 with 1 out. The number 9 hitter, Todd Leonard, on deck, and on the mound is sophomore Jason Susi. Susi came in to relieve Rod Skively in the first inning. Skively had problems getting anybody out after giving up a couple of runs. Get that net out, Bill. Back here in the press row, directly above home plate. Now, that's a thought with the re-entry rule that we talked about during our pregame show. Skively, who pitched and was taken out. Shot into left field for a base hit. We'll get to that point in a moment. Pfeiffer on with a base hit with one out here in the top of the second as Freeburg leads it 2-1, and that'll bring up Todd Leonard. And Pfeiffer really went after this low outside pitch and got ahead of it.
He did a nice job pulling that ball. It was out, like you said, it was outside pitch, and he got his hands out front and hit it early.
High school baseball, of course, has so many unique rules, one of them being the re-entry rule. Will that play an effect then, Bill, for the pitcher that was taken out in the first inning?
Well, it possibly could. He could come back into the ball game in that particular spot. And of course, Sushi would go out, and then he would be done for the day. But being that Sibley was a starter, he can be re-entered back into the ball game.
But once you become a substitute, let's make this clear, you cannot come out and then come in as a substitute for a second time.
No, you cannot.
That's correct. Okay. I like that rule. I think it really gives, I would think you as a coach would love that rule. It gives everybody a chance to play, keep everybody happy. Plus it allows you to use so many facets of the personnel on your bench.
Well, that's true.
Todd Leonard looking at a 2-0 pitch, and he becomes a patient young man and works it to 3-0. And Jason Susi on the hill behind the hitter with one looking at his face, leading off first base.
Getting back to that re-entry rule, you know, as a coach, you have a natural paranoia that you're going to pull your players too soon, and then it's too late, as the old rule was. But now at least you have a chance to play some of the other boys, and if you need to, re-enter your starters again.
The 3-0 delivery. Fastball gets the inside corner of the plate on Leonard. Leonard batting .275 on the year. No homers, but 4 RBIs. And he draws a walk. So Freeburg gets 2 runners aboard as Leonard gets a base on balls and joins teammate Keith Pfeiffer on the base pass. Pfeiffer moves over to second, and Susi looks a little concerned about the location of pitches like this one.
Yes, he came a little inside on this pitch here.
That'll bring up Tim Pruitt, the leadoff hitter in Coach Fred Bloomberg's order. Reached base on an infield hit to second on a balk. Last time Pruitt was up, and then he scored on Brad Gentry's RBI single. So it's already been a busy game for Tim Pruitt, who had a busy day in the semifinal. Pruitt pitched the semifinal victory for Freeburg. Maybe one of their better pitchers.
Yes, and he still has 2 innings left if he could go this evening yet.
In high school, as we mentioned earlier, for those of you who may have joined us late or didn't understand the rule, the high school pitcher can only pitch 9 innings in one day during this tournament action. So it's interesting, should Schlesinger get into problems, they can bring Pruitt in or go to someone else there like Bill, their whole infield pitches. Slicing fly ball to right center field. It's going to be trouble, back to the wall. Everybody holding up to see what it's going to do, and here they come right after and one another. 1 run will score for Freeburg. They lead it 3-1. Pfeiffer scoring all the way from second, but he had the hold up, and at third base is Todd Leonard, and he had the hold up also, and at second base with an RBI double is Tim Pruitt. Here it is again.
Well, you can see Susi got this ball a little higher than he wanted to, and again, the hitter did a nice job of going with the pitch and hit it deep to right field. It's a tough play to make. That's probably the toughest play for an outfielder to make, is the one directly over his head.
That sent Pfeiffer home in a hurry. And holding up at, there's at second base is Pruitt with the RBI double, and that'll bring up Gentry. The DH for the Midgets had that RBI single. And they go for the squeeze bunt. Here comes the man home. He'll score. They get the runner at first. They're going to try and squeeze 2 home, and they do it. Can this Freeburg Ball Club run? They just certainly showed us how you do it. And of course, you know where Freeburg is, right next door to where Whitey Herzog grew up. Maybe this Freeburg Ball Club took a page out of Whitey Herzog's book. The St. Louis Cardinal manager likes to do this. They get one in, and now watch this run come in for the second, making it a 5-1 Freeburg lead here in the top of the second inning.
It was a perfectly executed squeeze play, and you know that as well as I do that man on second was going all the way right from the start.
Here's Scott Meath. He had that RBI double his last time up. He was in on the first inning party. Wants to get in on this party here in the second. The 0-1 delivery with 2 outs, and he does. Keeps it alive with a shot down the line. And he is going to try for 2. The throw comes into the cutoff, and he's in with his second double of the night. Scott Meath, 2 doubles tonight for Scotty. One gets an RBI, the other one keeps this rally alive in the second. Here it is again.
Notice left fielder did a nice job of cutting this ball off. He had to go hard to his right. Made a nice play on that.
Jason Jarvis, the left fielder, saved what could have been a triple or an inside the park homer to a double by Meath. And Scott watches as Bishop McNamara goes back to the bullpen, and that'll be all for sophomore Jason Soucy. Jason looked like hot stuff when he came in there, but this Freeburg Ball Club, taking nothing away from Soucy, has really just been red hot here tonight in this Class A state championship ball game. Coming in now for McNamara will be Matt Ward. Ward also an underclassman, just a sophomore like Soucy was before him. This time though, Coach Granger will go with a right-hander.
Now pitching for the Irish, number 9, Matt Ward.
This will be Matt Ward's first innings pitched this year on the varsity level, which gives you a little bit of an indication of what the Kankakee McNamara Fighting Irish may be facing here. And we talked about how they have had to use so many pitchers in previous games in this tournament, Bill, and certainly great experience for this young sophomore. McNamara loaded up with underclassmen. They're in the championship game this year. They could very well be back next year.
Yes, I talked to Coach Granger about that, and he was happy about the fact that he's going to have a lot of these players returning. And as you said, a lot of the young ones, especially the pitchers coming in, he's showing some confidence in them, especially in the championship game, bringing them in at this point.
Well, here's Rich McGuire, the catcher, as the McNamara catcher. Ed Marquis talks to his new pitcher. So it'll be up to Rich McGuire to keep things going here for Freeburg as they score a couple with 2 outs on a marvelously executed squeeze bunt that scored runners from second and third. Here's McGuire, and he looks at a ball. Over at second base with his second double of the day, Scott Meath, the only base runner for Freeburg at this moment, but they have been using up the rubber out there on the base paths. Shot into right field, base hit. Meath is getting the turn around third. There could be a play at the plate. The first baseman cut off the throw, otherwise there could have been a play at the plate. RBI double for Rich McGuire. 6-1 Freeburg in the top of the second. Still 2 outs.
Here again, he stepped out and went with the pitch to the right side. First baseman gets in cutoff position, cut the throw off. Hard to say. Again, there's generally commands being thrown out there, so you don't know who told him to cut it, but it might have been a tight play at the plate.
Still 2 outs. Here's Mark Dill. He grounded out to the pitchers last time up, so Mark looking to get in on the hit parade. Everyone but Dill, Lynch, and Schlesinger have reached base thus far for Freeburg. Throw over to first. McGuire's back in time. The delivery. Inside low for a ball, 2-0. Mark Dill is just a junior. Also a pretty good golfer and basketball player. And he hits a grounder to the shortstop. Can't backhand it. Lost his footing in the dirt for just a moment. That caused Austin Provost to get off balance, but it gets Mark Dill on base. So only 2 batters have been unable to get on base, and unfortunate bit of footing out there by the shortstop Provost.
Yes, and he went to plant his right leg. As you can see there, he slipped a little bit, and that caused the glove to rise.
It will be ruled as an error by the official scorer, E6. It moves McGuire over to second, Dill at first, and here is Jim Lynch. Lynch, a senior out of Freeburg Junior High School, also a big golfing aficionado, and during the winter when he can't golf or play baseball, well, what else do you do at Freeburg? You go bowling. That's what he does. And he fouls him back into the screen for a ball. They call him Mickey. The reason why they call him Mickey is not because of Mickey Mantle. This is the Mickey Hatcher of this ball club.
Yes,
the guts and soul of this ball club, according to their head coach, Fred Bloomberg. Just like Mickey Hatcher has been with the LA Dodgers in capturing the World Series last year.
Coach Bloomberg said that he was a catalyst. He's the one that gets the players going.
Schlesinger on deck. A 1-2 count with 2 runners aboard and 2 outs. Matt Ward on the hill. Young sophomore. This is all very new to Matt. And there's the runners as they lead off first and second. Going way outside to get a strikeout. A big strikeout it is because it closes up the inning. 9 runners and hitters come up to bat in the inning. They get 4 hits and 4 more runs. As we go to the bottom of the second, it's Freeburg leading McNamara 6-1. The crowd sitting gently in their aluminum seats here at Lanphier Park in Springfield on a gorgeous summer evening in early June. It's 6-1 in favor of Freeburg as we go to the bottom of the second. The Fighting Irish, Bishop McNamara, who have fought back in the quarter and semifinals, have come from behind to win ball games earlier. So a 5-run deficit right now isn't really cause for concern based on their past performances, Bill Zeman.
No, that's true. And right now, I'm sure Coach is telling them that they're not going to get them all back in 1 inning. Just play your game. You have 6 innings yet to score.
Here's Austin Provost, the shortstop, to lead it off. Austin, one of the many underclassmen on this ball club, went to St. Patrick's Academy in the Kankakee area. And he hits a pop-up infield. Pitcher's going to take it right in front of the mound, and that's out number 1 in the second. Provost pops out to the pitcher for the first out in the bottom of the second, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Jason Jarvis. Provost will get another shot. And on the hill, Keith Schlesinger. You know, his mother is the head of the booster organization at Freeburg. Schlesinger's mother. Jason Jarvis at the plate, a senior out of Limestone Junior High. 3-sport athlete, football, basketball player. But he's no dummy. Computer science, accounting, those are his majors. Ball's behind here, 0-2, however. On deck will be Terry Keir. Schlesinger's 0-2 delivery, way up high outside for a ball. Schlesinger's mother, who's a little bit superstitious, when Keith gets up to bat, she kind of moves away from the dugout area. It's as if she doesn't want to look, and I don't know what she does when he pitches, but you know, all these fans out here in the stands in blue shirts, the Freeburg blue, all those shirts were Schlesinger's mom's idea. The 1-2 delivery, swing and a miss, pulled the string on that one, and got Jarvis swinging in air. Boy, he can really take something off this one, Bill.
Yes, he did a nice job with the curveball here. Took just enough off of it, got it to the inside part of the plate.
Strikeout number 3 for Schlesinger today, at 2 back in the first, and we're only in the bottom of the second. Here's the McNamara center fielder, Terry Cure. Another junior out of Mentino Junior High. Swings and misses at a rising high fastball, and Terry Cure on the year batting .314. No homers, 7 RBIs. Wanted to go after that one, should have. It was a strike, 0-2.
One thing that Schlesinger is doing a good job right now is getting ahead of the hitters, and that's something you definitely want out of your pitchers.
The 0-2 delivery with 2 outs, and it gets up high for a ball. Schlesinger really is very combative. You know, he's the regular third baseman when he is not pitching, and anyone who puts his nose down in the dirt at the hot corner has got some guts. And he's showing it on the mound as he gets him on the inside, called strike 3. 1, 2, 3. Bishop McNamara goes down in order in the bottom of the second, and Schlesinger is a happy man as he gets applause going back to the dugout. The Freeburg Midgets are little giants as we go to the third. 6-1 Freeburg. Keith Schlesinger, who has struck out 28 in 41 innings, really jammed the inside pitch for the final out, striking out Terry Cure. And Schlesinger will notably lead off here in the top of the third. 6-1 Freeburg, and the young man at home plate has been a big part of it. He has really been a bulldog out there on the hill. And he also does it with the bat. A base hit into right center field for Keith Schlesinger. Schlesinger helps out his own routine here. It's like nothing to him. Says, no, I don't need a jacket. It's too nice out here tonight.
Did a nice job here. Took the outside pitch to right center.
Well, I guess he said he does need the jacket. Gary Hearn, by the way, the first base coach there, was the head coach at Freeburg for 12 years. Got out of coaching for a few years while working for the Air Force, and then came back, and it is so admirable of Coach Fred Bloomberg of Freeburg now for the past 6 years, saying so happy to have Gary Hearn around because not only his great coaching expertise, but he has helped out kids like this young man, Keith Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, who has singled and scored already here this evening. Looks at a 1-0 pitch, backs off, but it is a strike call. 1-1 is the count. Watch this one come in. This is what you call chin music.
He squares as though he's going to bunt and then pulls the bat back, maybe a little late.
Also coming high and inside for ball 2, 2-1. Matt Ward, the young sophomore, getting some very valuable varsity experience here in the Class A state championship game. And that's quite a compliment to him for the coach to put him in. And but right now, Pfeiffer is the man with a 3-1 count and no outs, and with a runner aboard, and Schlesinger. Schlesinger is back on the throw. Hassett covering. When we get a chance, we'll take maybe a look at the defense for Bishop McNamara. 3-1 delivery. Fouls off behind home plate. And behind home plate is Ed Marquis for this ball club. There's Ed, the infield from third to first. First to third will make it Hassett, Turo, Provost, and Palisard. And you can see they're playing straight away in the outfield rather shallow. The outfield from left to right, Jarvis, Cure, and Quick. The 3-2 delivery, and he loses it. Pfeiffer's on with the base on balls, and Freeburg opens up this inning as they have the previous two with runners aboard. And again, the ball coming in
High and tight.
Ward has been pitching there, trying to jam those hitters, but he has been just a bit away. Here's Todd Leonard, who walked and scored his first time up, the number 9 hitter in the Coach Bloomberg order at Freeburg, and a called strike 1. Todd walked his last time up and then
scurried around on Tim Pruitt's RBI double. A double that looked like it was going to be caught, and the runners had to hold up. Pop up on the bunt, but it will fall away out in front of the Freeburg dugout as they are on the first base dugout side. Over with the warm-up jacket, Keith Schlesinger over at second base after singling, and Keith Pfeiffer over at first base.
Now with 2 strikes on the hitter, his job is to try to advance the runners and get him in a scoring position with nobody out at this time.
0-2 count on the hitter. Pitcher backs off the mound for a moment, and Ed Marquis, the McNamara catcher, goes out, wants to have a few words with his young sophomore pitcher, number 9, Matt Ward. Ward, 5'10", 16 years old. Welcome to varsity baseball, young man. Outside, misses for a ball on the 0-2 delivery. That's 1-2. Check that. It is a called strike 3. Surprised me on that call, and Daniel's not loud on it, but
He gave it a good look.
he certainly did give it a good look. And for a called strike 3, a big pitch here for the sophomore Ward. There is that call. Second Freeburg batter to strike out today, and that'll bring up Tim Pruitt again. And Pruitt up for the 3rd time in the 3rd inning. And another hit and a single for Pruitt. He is going for the cycle the way this kid's going. That will score Schlesinger from second, and it's now 7-1 Midgets. Over at third base on the nice slide is Pfeiffer. He's going to have a chance to dust himself off, and here's Pruitt.
Pruitt went right up the middle with this pitch. As you can see, the center fielder bobbled it just momentarily, which allowed the fact that there wasn't going to be a play at the plate.
Schlesinger scoring, Pfeiffer over at third, and over there at first base, Tim Pruitt. This young man has 3 hits today already. Pfeiffer with the lead off the third base bag. Brad Gentry, the designated hitter, at the plate for Freeburg with 1 out. He hits a hard to the shortstop. Over to 2 for 1. The turnaround can't get it. A run will score. 8-1 Freeburg here in the top of the 3rd. RBI fielder's choice for Brad Gentry.
That was a decision that the coach had to make, whether he wanted to go for the double play or try to cut the run off at the plate. And as you saw, they went for the double play and just a hair late in getting it.
There's Gentry with the RBI, and watch the runner come aboard. Again, the shortstop, Provost, made the good play, but coming across is Pfeiffer, and a ball gets away from the catcher. And the runner from first will advance over to second base.
Call that a wild pitch.
Scott Meath, the hitter. Meath has been red hot. 2 doubles, 9 hits already in 2 2/3 innings for Freeburg. Swings and misses. Ward pulls the string on the curveball on Meath.
Coach Bloomberg said that they were a big inning team. This has been their thing all year, and as you can see, they've had some pretty nice innings so far this evening.
A hard grounder, charging second baseman. Skips and throws for the out number 3. Nice play by the second baseman Lyle Turo to retire Scott Meath, but in the inning. 2 more runs. On 2 more hits. 1 error, nobody left. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 8-1. The Midgets leading the Irish. Fred Bloomberg on your right, the 6th-year head coach, 33-3 on the year, with the man who used to be the head coach, Gary Hearn, over on your left. And they're just looking at a 9, make that an 8-1 lead here in the bottom of the 3rd over Bishop McNamara. And right now they got to be feeling pretty good, Bill.
Oh, yes, they do. 8 8-1 score, 7 runs up. Although you got to be careful for McNamara. I mean, their story through this tournament has been big innings also. They had, I believe, a 7-run inning today to win a ball game. So the potential's there.
Well, no question about it. It'll be up to McNamara to shake it off and come back, as there are 8 runs and 9 hits, no errors for Freeburg, and McNamara 1 run on 2 hits and 1 error. And Kurt Quick in his first at-bat tonight here in the bottom of the 3rd. And Quick, the number 9 hitter in the order, at 0-2. Schlesinger out on the mound for the Freeburg Midgets. Been a bulldog out there. Has really come in and challenged these hitters. 0-2. Swings and misses. Strikeout number 5 for Schlesinger on the hill.
Well, as he's done so successfully, he's gotten ahead of the hitters consistently.
Well, that really has been the key, because they've got the hitters going after not his best pitches, but they have become his out pitches.
That's correct.
So maybe they are his best pitches.
Well, once you get ahead of the hitter, you can do pretty much what you want to do. It's when you get behind that they can start guessing fastballs and you know, that he's going to come in with a strike.
Here's Jeff Palisard, singled and scored his first time up. Singled and scored the only run that was hit in by Ed Marquis. 2-0 the count on Palisard. Turro on deck. Up high for ball 3. Schlesinger getting behind on this particular batter, and he has not been behind 3-0 to any batter previously that I can recall. But he gets the strike and goes to 3-1.
These are, in coaching terms, what we call hitter's pitches, and so you can bet that the hitter's going to be in there digging in, looking for the fastball.
Pop-up right side going into the outfield grass is the second baseman for Freeburg, and making the catch is Mark Dill for the out. Dill, who did a great job pitching earlier in this tournament, gets a chance to do what he also does well, and that's play second base, making that put out for out number 2, retiring Palisard, and that'll bring up the number 2 hitter in Coach Terry Granger's Bishop McNamara's order, Lyle Turro. Turro was the first strikeout victim of Keith Schlesinger back in the 1st. This time, though, he gets a bit of it, shallow right center. Coming in and making the catch is the center fielder, Tim Pruitt. And for the 2nd inning in a row, Bishop McNamara goes down 1-2-3, and this defense from Freeburg has really been doing the job. We go to the top of the 4th with the Midgets still leading the Leprechauns 8-1. And the crowd on their feet rooting the Freeburg Midgets as they lead 8-1 going into the top of the 4th. And on a beautiful night like this, what's better than baseball? And if you don't have apple pie, how about some ice cream? Leading off the top of the 4th for the Midgets will be Rich McGuire, the catcher. He's 1 for 2 today. And he hits a hard shot to the shortstop, backhands it, and Provost makes the wild throw. That has been a problem for McNamara, has been their errors and the wild throws. And here again, we look at Provost going to his backhand.
Made a nice play. Throw took the first baseman off, and actually the first baseman did a nice job coming off the bag to make the catch.
Hassett really did save that ball from going down the line and preventing extra bases. And at first base is McGuire. Leading off, Hassett covering, and Mark Dill at the plate. Ground to the shortstop. Provost on his knees makes the throw. They can't get him. Second baseman did not get a handle on the ball, and everybody's safe. Here's another look as Dill over at first base hits the ball hard. Provost goes for the pickup, still tries to make the play. But unfortunately, second baseman Lyle Turrell just could not get a handle on it. So over at second base is McGuire. Dill is over at first base. And at home plate is Jim Lynch. Lynch has made the final out of the first and second innings. Certainly Mickey, as he's known to be called, would like to get something going here with no outs. Over at second is McGuire. Dill at first. 3-0. Ward is behind the hitter. And right now, Dill has his choice. You got a 7-1 lead, Bill. Is that a green light time?
Depending upon what the coach is trying to do, if Lynch is a good contact hitter and has good discipline up there, yes, you give him the green light because you know he's going to go after a good pitch. But right there, I believe he probably had the take on.
He did that time because it was high and away for ball 4. Ward has loaded him up here on the top of the 4th. And that will bring up the Freeburg pitcher as the bases are jammed here in the 4th. Over at first is Lynch, and here's Schlesinger.
He's in an opportunity, has an opportunity here to really help himself out.
And he hits a hard shot into center field. Underneath it, though, is Kerr, and he will throw to the third baseman. A run will score, though, and it's 9-1, Freeburg. Runner advances from second to third. Scoring from third is McGuire. Dill over at third base. Second is open. And Lynch remains over at first. And Schlesinger getting some water, and well deserved it. He really jumped on this pitch.
Yes, he did. Took the first pitch, went right up the middle with it. Center field did a nice job going, not trying to get the runner at the plate, trying to get the man at third instead, and also cuts the man from first going to second.
Well, here's Keith Pfeiffer. He's been busy on the base pass, has singled and walked, scored twice. Looks at a ball 1, and with Todd Leonard on deck, it's batting practice for Freeburg here.
10 hits in 4 innings. It's quite a potent offense.
But again, we have to go back to the quarterfinal and the semifinal. We have seen McNamara explode despite trailing with big innings of their own, and that has made them somewhat of a magical story here. And this young man, just a sophomore, Matt Ward on the hill for the Irish. Inside, called strike. For a sophomore with not a lot of bulk, Bill, he seems to have some good velocity on his pitches.
Yes,
as we look over at the runners, Dill at third, Lynch, or check that, Lynch at third, and Schlesinger at first.
Yes, for a sophomore, Ward does have some pretty fair velocity.
Dill is at third, Lynch having been forced out at second, and Schlesinger with the... And up the middle they go, another base hit. Dill will score, making it 10-1. And we just may have an opportunity here to put that unique high school 10-run rule into being. Ward getting beaten up on the hill, and this is why. Lays it right over there, although, again, you've got to give the Freeburg hitter some credit. He really went out and hit a bad pitch.
Yes, he did. I think he got fooled by the pitch and stuck the bat out, stuck with it, and put it right up the middle.
Number 44, Bill Peterman.
So Ward having his problems out on the hill, but will be now up to Peterman. Will get a chance to hit. Number 44, Bill Peterman, will bat for Tim Pruitt. So again, a great gesture by Coach Fred Bloomberg to get some of the other kids in this championship game. Charging by Provost, throws, can't get a scoop. Ball gets away. Lynch will score. Rounding third, coming home. There could be a play. Nope. Peterson goes all the way to third. 12-1. And Freeburg is celebrating in the grandstands and on the field. They're feeling a 5-inning championship ball game at this moment. Peterson really got a good hit on this, Bill, and after that, Provost looked like he makes a nice charge, but really never had his footing to make that throw.
No, the throw was short, handcuffed the first baseman, and they never stopped running.
Scoring Peterson with a great hustle, getting into third base after all that, and there he stands all cleaned up now. Another error for McNamara on the throw by Provost. And the pitcher, Matt Ward, on the hill. And here will be Tim Pruitt. Peterman, who batted for Todd Lannert, over at third base, and Pruitt, who is 3 for 3 with an infield single, a clean single, and a double along with 2 RBIs, swings and misses at his first pitch.
He's been a very effective hitter.
Wanted to go after that one, a foul tip. Peterman rather, came down the line, but home plate umpire said Daniel came over there right away like a traffic cop. No, you don't have to run this far. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. 4 runs already across the board in this inning. Slicing fly ball, shallow right, could be trouble, and gets away. Peterman will score easily from third and in with a double. Tim Pruitt, his second double of the game. He is 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Tim Pruitt having a career day on a career night in a career game.
In his final game of his career. Ball sliced down out into right field. Right fielder made a nice effort for it, but just came up about a foot short.
Kurt Quick, the right fielder, not quick enough on that, however, but did make a great effort to get to the ball. And Tim Pruitt has really been hot tonight. The Freeburg fans in their blue and white colors banging their feet on the aluminum stands here. And every time they bang their feet, their batters bang the ball, and they are banging up the runs. 13-1 here in the top of the 4th. Freeburg has scored in this order 2 runs in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, and 5 here in the 4th. Brad Gentry is the hitter. Gentry today 1 for 3. Has reached on a fielder's choice, but has been left stranded, singled and scored back in the first. Called strike. The runner is Pruitt over at second base. Well, he's getting to know those pillows out there on the base pass as well as the one at home in his bed. With this young man, Brad Gentry goes down swinging for the strikeout, and you got to give this young sophomore pitcher from McNamara some credit. Despite getting shelled here in this inning, he does not hesitate to come back with a high, hard one and get the strikeout pitch. Here's Scott Meath. He also has been hot. 2 doubles today for Scotty. Grounded out to end last inning to the second baseman.
For a sophomore, Ward is showing a lot of composure. He's going out there and still pitching like it's a 1-run ball game in a situation where he could sit back and give up.
Exactly.
Give him a lot of credit for that.
You really do. Meath, the senior out of Freeburg Grammar School, pops it up. Right side, second baseman Lyle Turrell's under it, and he makes the catch to retire the side, but not after Freeburg. He gets in some damage, and some big damage it was. They get 5 runs on 4 more hits, an error, and they leave a runner aboard. We go to the bottom of the 4th with McNamara trailing by 12, 13-1. The broadcast rights to this game have been granted to Sports Channel by the IHSA solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the consent of the Illinois High School Association or Sports Channel is prohibited. Joe Passion along with Bill Zeman. We go to the bottom of the fourth at the Class A high school baseball finals. Bishop McNamara coming up, but they trail by 12, 13-1. And Bill, I think you made a very good point during the break, and that is what the McNamara head coach, Terry Granger's got to be telling his kids right now, because they need a couple of runs to stay in this ball game, to stay away from that 10-run rule.
Well, that's what he's telling them. He's saying right now we don't need 12 right away. What we need is 2 or 3 so we can get back in under the 10 runs so that we'll have the extra innings to possibly catch up.
Well, here's a kid that can do it in one swing. Kevin Hassett, 7 homers, 45 RBIs. He hits .410 on the year. And the Kankakee dugout at this point is not looking like winners. But they wouldn't be here if they weren't. And you know that with the way they came back in that wild 3.5-hour semifinal victory over Anna Jonesboro, when they scored 7 runs in the latter innings, to turn around a game very similar to this one.
Yes, the momentum in that ball game switched about 3 different times, and McNamara got the best of it at the end with the 7-run 7.
The 1-1 delivery from Schlesinger to Hassett, swings and misses for strike 2.
Now here's where sometimes frustration becomes a part of the game. You try to do it all at one time, and the last 2 pitches were a little outside that he went after.
Well, there's a lot of pride at Bishop McNamara High School in Kankakee, and you know they're going to show some of it before this one's over. Hassett, a hard shot through the hole. It'll be a base hit. First baseman could not get to it. Lynch made a good diving try, knocked it down, but Hassett's on with a base hit, and of course that's how rallies start, with the leadoff hitter.
That's right. You got to start somewhere.
Number 26.
Here he hits the ball fairly hard in between first and second. First baseman just barely gets his glove out and puts the ball where the second baseman was.
Well, that's Bubba over there leading off first, and you can imagine why they call him Bubba Bossman. Anything he wants you to call him. 6'3", 225, Kevin Hassett over at first, and another big fella, Ed Marquis at the home plate. And Marquis provided the only RBI of the game thus far for McNamara with an RBI double back in the first that batted in Jeff Palisard.
He's a long ball threat. He has 5 home runs, 37 RBIs on the year, hitting slightly over 300.
And Ed is a young man that is beginning a lot of notice from collegiate scouts. I talked to a few earlier here today, and this is a young man. He's only a junior, 6'4", 218. Swings and misses, and a lot of people like Ed Marquis. He's out of St. Martin's Junior High School.
Now this is his first year behind the plate. They said that they needed somebody with a good arm, and coming in his junior year, first time behind the plate, doing an excellent job.
You can imagine who a big, striking, strong catcher like Ed Marquis' marquee idols are. Carlton Fisk and Johnny Bench.
2 excellent catchers.
2-1 delivery, and he swings and misses. It evens at 2-2. On deck will be John Wade. Marquis, also a 3-sport athlete, competes in football and basketball as well as he is here in baseball. He's worked himself to a 3-2 count, and let's take a look at the defense for Freeburg. From third to first, Bickett as a fly ball to deep right field. Taken down by the Freeburg right fielder, Todd Leonard, and he gets it in a hurry, but Marquis really gave that ball a ride.
Yes, going opposite field. That's quite a poke.
John Wade.
So Marquis back to the dugout after a long out to right field, brings up designated hitter John Wade. We'll get back to that defense for Freeburg in a moment as Wade steps in. You can see the Freeburg center fielder, Tim Pruitt, playing Wade a little bit off to the right field side, and the right fielder playing deep, expecting him to pull. The right fielder, Todd Lannert, you see in the top right hand of your screen, way back there in deep right field. The first baseman, Jim Lynch, at second base, Mark Dill. The shortstop, Scott Neef. The third baseman, Clint Bickett. There's the infield, and we didn't mention the left fielder. That's Keith Pfeiffer. The catcher, Rich McGuire, and on the hill, the Bulldog, Schlesinger, Keith Schlesinger.
Once again, he's getting ahead of the hitter.
0-1 delivery. Pop-up left side. Could be playable. Going forward is McGuire, and he gets it outside the third base coach's box.
Came a long way to get that ball.
He sure did. What might normally have been considered a ball for the third baseman, McGuire called him off and went after him. And he really got out of that box in a hurry, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Pulls it down. Nice play by the catcher, McGuire. Austin Provost hits one through the hole in the right field. Hassett, not known for his wheels, will hold up at second base. But Provost moves him along. There's Hassett at second. Provost with his first hit of the game at first base. And he got it right where they want it. The old wee Willie Keeler.
Right in between the two.
That's it.
That's 2 in a row right there.
That'll bring up Jason Jarvis, the left fielder. Jarvis, his first time up, struck out. There's Jarvis walking out of the box for a moment, is trying to get to the pitcher maybe. Schlesinger, the pitcher on your left with the catcher McGuire, and getting a few singles straight. Do you like your pitcher and catcher talking to each other, or would you rather have them not waste their time doing that, Bill?
No, if my catcher thinks that he needs to talk, he has to really be my quarterback out there. And if he feels he has to go over either change of signals, and as I see right now, they're trying to give signals from second base, and I imagine that's what they did, is to change the sequence.
Over at second base, Kevin Hassett, the big boomer, the boss man, and over at first is AP, Austin Provost. Jason Jarvis at the plate. He's a senior out of Limestone Junior High up in the Kankakee area. Computer science, his favorite class in high school. Should be, is an Illinois State scholar. You think a kid that good in school would have a nickname like Demon? And that's Jason Jarvis. Maybe it's because of that Jason name. Doesn't look like he could have hurt anyone, though, does he?
Only with the bat.
That's right. And right now, that's what Schlesinger's got to be concerned about. Keith Schlesinger, the Freeburg pitcher, still ahead of the hitter, though, at 1-2 with 2 outs and runners at first and second, protecting a 12-run lead. And up the middle, if it gets through, it could be damage. They touch the bag for the third and final out. Big play by the Freeburg shortstop.
Nice heads-up play there on the short.
Scott Meath really did a play on that. He had to leap for the ball and then tag the base with his glove stretching out. And a big play, and this is where we talked about earlier how Freeburg does it all. They hold no runs for Bishop Mack, and we go to the top of the 5th. It's 13-1. Freeburg with the lead. Watch Freeburg shortstop Scott Meath make a big defensive play to halt what seemed like be a McNamara rally. Way out of position, yet he still comes back.
He came all the way past the second baseman, or over to the second baseman side of the bag, fields the ball, tags the base.
The Freeburg blue right now is red hot and flashing a signal they hope to be official before this one's all over. The Class A High School Baseball Championship here in Springfield, and leading off for Freeburg in the top of the 5th, leading 13-1 over McNamara. Rich McGuire, junior catcher. We spoke about him and his fine defensive play behind home plate last inning. The kind of catcher that runs down the third or first base line to back up his infielders, that fundamental catcher that he talked about his heroes, Carlton Fisk and Johnny Bench. Grounds out, though, to the second baseman, Lyle Turrell, coming out to make the nice play over from second base. And that retires Rich McGuire. Mark Dill, the second baseman for Freeburg, steps into the box. Mark has been on base twice today, but is very disappointed with himself, or at least that's my judgment by what I've seen on his face the 2 times he's been on, because he's reached base on an error and a fielder's choice and grounded out to the pitcher. So he's looking for something clean, but that almost cleaned his clock.
High and tight.
Mark also just another junior, and this is what you call upper chin music.
Yes, it was.
You know, a lot of the McNamara players and some of the school officials very superstitious. Many of them haven't shaved in the last few days, and for a moment there looked like Dill was going to get one whether he won or not. Dill also a 3-sport athlete, basketball, baseball, and ball. And an honor roll student. They call him Holmes. Looks like Mr. Holmes, and he gets his clean base hit he wanted, and Dill is on with a base hit.
Hit that ball well. Inside pitch, pulled over shortstop's head.
Well, Dill, who hit a grand slam earlier this year against Belleville East, one of the powerful AA schools in the St. Louis area, gets a clean single here in the left center, and he's on base for the 3rd time, and the first clean hit, the 13th hit of the evening in 4 1/3 innings for Freeburg, and that'll bring up Jim Lynch. And Mickey hits one through the hole. Second baseman can't get to it. Turrell tried to backhand the ball and make the throw. Gave a great effort going to his right, but unable to come up with it.
Yes, as you said, you can see here, he goes hard to his right, gets the glove on it, but tough play to make. Backhand going full go towards that side of the field.
Over at first base is Jim Lynch.
Now batting for the Midgets, number 2, Alan Shawn.
And we will have Alan Shawn's number 2, the young man you're looking at, pinch hit for the pitcher, Keith Schlesinger. Schlesinger, who already has a couple of hits and an RBI, gets a chance to rest his arm by sitting on the bench rather than run around the base pass.
Now here's where your re-entry rule will probably take effect. If they're going to go back with Schlesinger, he can sit down, relax, and he will re-enter at the end of this inning.
One's on the board, 1-1 count. Make that 1-2 now with 1 out. Over at second base, Mark Dill. Jim Lynch over at first. The pinch hitter, Alan Shands, and he swings and misses for strike 3, but he got in the big game.
Yes, he did.
Take another look at this one, and
nice fastball on the inside part of the plate. Couldn't get the bat head around.
really did.
Midgets, number 14, Mark Damian.
Well, Ward, the pitcher, will get a chance to see another new hitter, number 14, Mark Damian. Mark pinch hitting for Keith Pfeiffer.
Damian, a junior.
Batting 176 on the year. Damian has been up at the plate 34 times previously with 6 hits, 7 runs, and 2 RBIs. And he looks at called strike 2. So the regulars getting a rest with a 12-run lead, and in the bottom of the 5th, when Bishop McNamara comes up, their number 8 and 9 hitters will lead off, to be followed by the leadoff hitter. shortstop makes the play. Provost over to the second baseman, Turo. And we go into what could be the final out, and it's up to the Fighting Irish, Bishop McNamara, to get that fighting spirit up, because if they don't score at least 2, it's all over. 13-1 Freeburg. We'll be back. Under a beautiful Central Illinois summer sky in June, the Class A High School Baseball Championships from the state capital of Springfield, and with Freeburg out on the field leading 13-1, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Bishop McNamara of Kankakee must score at least 2 runs. They must score at least 2 to bring this within 10 runs, or we're in trouble. At least McNamara is, and that's their bench right now that realizes they're on their last hope, but they haven't given up hope.
As you can see, Schlesinger re-entered the game, and for the Freeburg Midgets.
Schlesinger, the pitcher, on the hill. He's thus far has gone all the way, giving up only 4 hits, and a hard grounder to the third baseman. The pickup and the play made over to first base. The nice 5-3 play from Clint Bickett.
Nice arm for a freshman. Here, ball hit to his left, picked it up, made a nice long, hard throw over to first base.
Over at third base is number 13, Wade Meyer, replacing Bickett last inning. So Wade Meyer comes in and he gets a shot right away. Here for Bishop McNamara, Terry Cure. Check that Kurt Quick after Kerr grounded out. Quick looking at only his second at-bat of the game. He's a senior. Would certainly like to get one, and he hits it hard, but right in the center field. One-handed line drive grab by the center fielder.
Well hit
Tim
ball
Pruitt has
right
done
at
it
it.
all. There's Pruitt out in center, and Freeburg is 1 out away from capturing the IHSA Class A State Championship. In their way, Jeff Palisar. And the crowd along the first base and right field line are on their feet for what could be the final out of their big season. Grounder, third baseman, Meyer makes the 5-3 put out, and it's all over. Freeburg has replaced St. Bede's as the Illinois Class A High School Baseball Championship. They said they wanted to have fun all year long. Well, that looks like fun to me. 13-1, the final score. And another one of the many great teams from that southwestern Illinois region around St. Louis on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River are taking a championship trophy home. This time it's Freeburg.
Historically, they've always had strong baseball coming out of that part of the state.
All we have to do is go back, talk about some of the other teams in the Cahokia Conference. Back in 1987, Columbia won the state championship. 1986, Marissa won the state championship. 1980, Marissa was also in the state finals. 1986, Waterloo was here in the state semis, also in 84. Alton Marquette is a yearly visitor to the state finals. They were here again. But right now, the water is on the manager. And Fred Bloomberg is wet. He's wild, but he's happy.
He's enjoying it. You can bet on that. Freeburg really put on an offensive show tonight. 13 runs on 13 hits, didn't make any defensive errors, and Coach Bloomberg said that he felt this was one of their strengths, was their strong defense.
Stay with us. We'll have the trophy presentations to the boys in blue, the Freeburg Midgets, and tonight they are anything but small. They are the biggest of the Class A schools in Illinois. The Freeburg Midgets, the Class A state champions. We'll be back with more of our post-game coverage of the Class A high school baseball championships after these messages. The award ceremonies down in the field of Lanphier Park in Springfield, home of the Class A Springfield Cardinals of Major League Baseball on the minor circuit. But these guys right now feeling like major leagues because they are the Class A of Class A high school baseball in Illinois. Freeburg lining up. And although Bishop McNamara may not feel like champions right now, I guess most semifinalists don't. Runners-up usually don't. You've been their coach, and it may not sit in right now, but you got to believe that the Fighting Irish are going to go back to Kankakee, and it may be a few more days, but they're going to realize it was quite an accomplishment what they got. And here's another look at how Freeburg accepted the final out, and they just couldn't wait to get out there to greet the winning pitcher, Keith Schlesinger. Let's go down and we'll pick up the public address announcer's statements as the Freeburg Ball Club really celebrating, and their fans who came out in unison here. And again, this is one of the wonderful things about these small tournaments in Illinois is the whole community comes out, unlike some of the Chicagoland area communities.
It brings everybody together in a small town.
Individual awards for the 1989 boys.
Let's take you down to our public address announcer, Dan DeFreitas.
Presentations will be members of the Illinois High School Association Board of Directors and Administrative Staff. Presenting medallions to the squad members of the second place team will be Mr. Lauren Stevens of Winona High School in Winona, who serves the IHSA as a board member, and Mr. William Mitz of Monticello High School in Monticello, who serves the IHSA as secretary. Now please meet the Irish of Bishop McNamara, who finished the 1989 season in second place with a final record of 25 wins and 10 losses. The principal of the school is Father Erwin Savella. Head coach, Terry Granger. Assistant coach, Mike Hono. Assistant coach, Kurt Sainden. Players, number 1, Lyle Turo. Number 2, Rick Longton. Number 3, Joel Luttrell.
I guess, Bill, that
Number 6,
losing the championship game feels a little bit better when you can put the weight of that medal around your neck. And you've got those fans that have come down from Kankakee to applaud your efforts here. It's got to feel a little bit better.
Like you said earlier, it's a situation where they don't really realize yet what they've really done. It's going to take a couple days to settle in. Sure, it's a disappointment, but to get here is quite an accomplishment to just play in the championship game. And again, at this point, they don't necessarily feel that, but it is a very, very nice accomplishment.
Number 22, Rob Sibley. Number 24,
It's been a banner year for the Fighting Irish of Bishop McNamara. We talked earlier about how, of course, their football team and annual entrant into the State Football Championship Series each year. The football team at Bishop Mac has won 4 football state championships earlier this season. The golf team won the runners-up spot in the Class A state golf competition, and now the baseball team, after reaching the quarterfinals in 1986 to lose, reached the championship game in 1989. The only 2 times that Bishop Mac has been there, but tonight is the night of the Midgets, the Freeburg Midgets, located just southeast of Belleville, Illinois, really a suburb of Belleville and St. Louis. And they came out here in their blue and white.
Head coach, number 24, Fred Bloomberg.
Fred Bloomberg, a lot of credit. This young man, and we can still call him a young man because he's coaching, Gary Hearn, coached the ball club for 12 years, and how fitting it was he was the one that built the nucleus, the base for this successful baseball program. Now he gets to share the spoils of a state championship season.
Yes, and Fred Bloomberg gave a lot of the credit for their success to Gary Hearn in developing the program that they have down at Freeburg.
Following the presentations, we'll be announcing the all-tournament team that has been voted on by the media here.
Mark Hill. Number 8, Tim Pruitt.
What a great evening Pruitt had. 4 hits, 3 RBIs.
Number 12, Clint Bickett.
He was definitely a spark plug for him tonight.
Number 13, Wade Meyer.
Wade Meyer with 2 assists in the final inning. 2 great plays over at third base.
Yes, he did. Both plays moving to his left.
Number
Good strong
15,
throws over to the base.
And he didn't come in until the 5th inning, replacing Bickett.
Number 16, Keith Pfeiffer. Number 17, Brad Clausen. Number 19, Chad Harbach. Number 21, Chris Mulkey. Number 23, Keith Schlesinger. Number 29, Mark Hyre.
The wonderful thing about both these two teams, Bill, is the many underclassmen who are in uniforms tonight getting medals put around their necks. Heck, back in 1990, we may have another Freeburg McNamara championship.
Very well done.
Freeburg has 14 underclassmen returning from this squad that will be back next year. 14 underclassmen. And McNamara will have 12 underclassmen coming back for next season. So I wouldn't be surprised to see these two teams back in this tournament again next year.
No, and needless to say, just having them getting this opportunity to be on this diamond, a lot of times those are the catalysts that it takes to get here year after year after year. You have to have somebody behind you to, or somebody, the younger players behind, having somebody to look up to and follow.
Captain of Freeburg High School, please step forward to receive.
Well, Bishop McNamara gets his well-deserved runner-up trophy, and the Class A state champions of Illinois baseball, the Freeburg Midgets of Coach Fred Bloomberg, get their state championship trophy to take home to that
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
small town of Freeburg. Only about 3,000 strong, but I bet you they're going to be rocking like a million out there this week.
Yes, they will. It's going to be a proud area.
Only 503 students at Freeburg High School in St. Clair County.
Brian Steele.
I'm sure Principal Wayne Truman and
Also from Argenta,
all the other
Troy Roberts.
administrative and teachers are going to be sharing in this wonderful moment of achievement for Freeburg High School. They're announcing the all-tournament team, so we'd like to also announce to our audience here on television the all-tournament first baseman, Kevin Hassett of Kankakee McNamara. All-tournament at second base, Freeburg's Mark Dill. All-tournament at third base from Argenta Oriana, Brian Steele, and his teammate Troy Roberts, the all-tournament shortstop. The all-tournament outfield included Freeburg's Keith Pfeiffer, had that remarkable homer and the 3-2 extra inning game against Monmouth. Also Scott Watson of Argenta Oriana and Tim Pruitt of Freeburg. The all-tournament catcher, Rich McGuire of the Freeburg Midgets. The DH, Keith Cunningham of Anna Jonesboro, and the two all-tournament pitchers, Lonnie Brown of Monmouth and Todd Harrison of McNamara, who pitched so well earlier in this tournament. And the co-MVPs, voted by the media at the Class A High School Baseball Championship Tournament, the co-MVPs go to Freeburg teammates Rich McGuire and Keith Pfeiffer. Let's go back for a moment and take a look at the final out of this 5-inning, 13-1 victory. A ground ball off the bat of Jeff Palisard to the fill-in third baseman Wade Meyer, and he fielded that like he wanted it.
Oh, he went there with authority.
First baseman, the catalyst. They call him the Mickey Hatcher of this ball club, Jim Lynch. In the middle of that, there's number 3 in the middle.
It's a happy bunch of boys.
Boys will be boys, and when they're champions, they become men.
That's for sure.
We're coming back with more from Springfield after these messages.
From Lanphier Park, a beautiful night for a ball game and for a state championship. And tonight, the Class A state championship won by the Freeburg Midgets as they defeat the Bishop McNamara Fighting Irish 13-1. Joe Passion along with Bill Zeman, as we talked about prior to the game, Bill, it was going to be a game in which one team was going to explode for a lot of runs. Both teams have done that in the tournament already. Freeburg jumped out early, and they stayed out there.
Yes, they did. The big move of the game, I suppose, or big part of the game was the fact that they did jump out and have so many consecutive innings of a lot of runs, and which really kind of wore down the pitching staff.
The last out of the ball game was reminiscent of how well Freeburg had this game clamped up. They went down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. A grounder by Palisard to the third baseman, Wade Meyer, and he wanted the ball. He went after it, and he did a wonderful job. And Freeburg began their celebration, winning the Class A state championship. The quick line score, Freeburg 13 runs, 13 hits, no errors. They left only 7 men on base. For Kankakee McNamara, 1 run, 4 hits, and 4 errors. And they only left 4 men on base, but they didn't have many runners on base. It was that kind of a game. Again, Kankakee McNamara got here. They didn't capture the big trophy, but they got a pretty nice piece of metal to take back home.
Yes, they have to feel good about their accomplishments. Again, they won't feel the full gist of it until tomorrow, a couple days down the road. But to get here and do what they did, they deserve a great pat on the back.
And from being from that area outside of St. Louis down there in the southern portion of the state of Illinois, the southeast portion of the state of Illinois, Cardinal country in some respects, but they seem to have a hold on this Class A high school baseball tournament, all the teams that we mentioned earlier, including your own.
Yes, they have a very, very strong baseball tradition down there, and consistently they have the very strong teams that go through the tournament.
Well, it has been a great tournament. It would turn out to be tremendous weather here for the tournament, and we are very glad to have you for us here at this great baseball tournament. 13-1 the final score. Our next IHSA championship game will be Saturday at 1 o'clock when Sports Channel presents the Class AA championship. The executive producer for tonight's game is Danny DiCarlo. Tonight's game has been produced and directed by Lisa Stelzer. Remote facilities provided by Trio Video of Chicago. Stay tuned for Sports Nightly. I'm Joe Passion saying good night for Bill Zeman. Once again, the final score, Freeburg defeats Kankakee McNamara 13-1. The proceeding has been an exclusive Sports Channel presentation.